Did the Vatican create Islam? This video is a book review of Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness, The Truth About the Vatican and the Birth of Islam by Gary Dale Cearley. Number 1. Who is Gary Dale Cearley? Gary Dale Cearley is an imposing man who speaks with eloquences and passion about his favorite topics, with history being one of the many. He is the author of Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness, The Truth About the Vatican and the Birth of Islam, published in 2006, and Gary Dale Gets Offensive, Lurid Scenes from Vaudeville, published in 2007. According to his own website, Gary Dale Cearley is an author who is not only not afraid to write on controversial subjects, but is also well versed in what goes on around the world. He is well studied and well traveled. Number 2. What's the controversy? One such controversial topic finds its way in Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness. The book deconstructs the incorrect conspiracy theory that the Vatican had created Islam in order to secure its control over the Holy Land and its supremacy as a world religion. This journey in the history of the Roman Catholic Church and the beginnings of Islam had been written, as the author himself confesses in his introduction, from the strong belief that we should always be mindful and respectful of others' beliefs. Number 3. What does the Ninth Commandment teach us? The heart of the matter of the book is a historical religious commentary, which is clearly hinted at by the very title of the book itself. The title makes use of the first 6 words of the Ninth Commandment, which states, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." Exodus 20:16. In other words, the commandment prohibits any form of lying. It so happens that Gary Dale has a fetish for the truth. No matter how difficult or controversial it might be, I personally believe that you cannot truly believe in God at all if you don't have a regard for the truth, because God is the very nature of truth. Number 4. The cartoon track that started it all. The truths that Gary Dale is so keen in revealing in his Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness are an attack on Jack T. Chick's falsehoods, which were published in The Prophet, Chick Publications, 1988. Chick's book is a cartoon track based on Alberto Rivera's unbelievable confession that the Pope, Jesuits, and the Catholic Church founded Islam to do their own dirty work, to put Jerusalem in the Pope's hands and get rid of all the early Christian churches which were not affiliated to the Vatican. It is indeed a remarkable statement that Gary Dale Cearley coherently proves wrong, by dissecting the text of the tract and putting all the falsehoods against the annals of history. Number 5. How the Vatican allegedly created Islam. In his publication, Jack Chick, an independent fundamentalist Baptist, aka Congregationalist, claimed that, quote, Roman Catholicism was growing in power but would not tolerate opposition. Somehow, the Vatican had to create a weapon to eliminate both the Jews and the true Christian believers who refused to accept Roman Catholicism. The Vatican wanted to create a messiah for the Arabs, someone they could raise up as a great leader, the Prophet Muhammad, a man with charisma who they could train and eventually unite all the non-Catholic Arabs behind him, creating a mighty army that would ultimately capture Jerusalem for the Pope. All these outrageous confessions came from Alberto Rivera, who lived between 1935 and 1997, a man who has claimed to have been a secret Jesuit agent, but who had eventually been proven to be, as Leslie Price puts it, the religious hoax of the century. Conclusion. Although not a thick book, Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness is filled with dates, locales, and personalities which have had a major impact on the history of the Roman Catholic Church in general, and that of Islam in particular. The discourse of the entire book makes more than perfect sense. It brings forth historical evidence that refutes the claims made by Chick and Rivera in their comic track. The only improvement that I would suggest for a future edition of Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness would be the addition of historical maps in each of the 11 chapters that make up the book. These maps could help the reader better visualize the geographical areas mentioned in the book, as well as gain a deeper, more detailed understanding of the subject matter. Gary Dale's Thou Shalt Not Bear False Witness about the Vatican conspiracy should be part of any history aficionado's collection of valuable possessions.